And spawning in the top right-hand corner of ley lines, we have our South Korean Terran player, the red Terran representing Shopify. It is ByuN. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have as opponent, we have the blue Protoss player representing Team Liquid. It is SKillous. And if you're in the chat, you know what time it is. It is Gamba time. Predictions are open. Place your bets on who you think will claim the series. Coming into this, I do favor SKillous, but what I will say is that ByuN, he has a little bit more experience this time with the mod. He has a little bit more insight into the interactions between the races. So I want to believe that this time it is going to be a more competitive matchup between SKillous and ByuN. I want to believe that ByuN has something up his sleeve here, especially because he did choose to play Brutal Terran first. Double gas opener. ByuN, he's going for a delayed CC. He's going to be going for maybe even a 3-racks opener into Academy, into Stim. Again, that is a popular build. It's a popular build, a popular way to open up in this matchup. We'll see. The alternative, this could be just racks into Factory, into Vulture, into Mech versus Protoss. Mech versus Protoss is viable, is very much so a thing in StarCraft Evolution from the Brood War side of things, from Brood War Terran. So we'll see where ByuN takes this. Do we go for the Academy? Do we go for the Factory? There it is. Factory is on the way. Probe Scout will confirm the double gas opener, will confirm the faster Factory. Again, we can see here just a much faster Probe Scout out of SKillous. We did take note earlier how Shaxing did delay his Probe Scout. He was punished for it. Here, SKillous is on top of that scouting. SKillous is aware. Again, if you're in the chat, get your Gamba going while you can, as predictions are about to close. And we have our 2-gate opener out of SKillous. Meanwhile, no surprise here, that is a second Factory. So as we mentioned, Mech here against Protoss is viable when it comes to the Brood War side of things. We can go into a Vulture-based opener, into Goliath, into Tank. Like, there's a little different ways here to build into this. But Vultures are going to be the bread and butter, especially in the early game for ByuN. Machine Shop is on the way. This should be for initially Ion Thrusters. A little bit more micro potential. Otherwise, we could go into earlier Spider Mine production or early Spider Mine research. Yep, there it is. Okay, Spider Mine first. Probe Scout is denied. Now, are we crazy enough to throw down like a third Factory and go 1 base all in? I mean, this is already quite aggressive. This is quite aggressive here from ByuN. Okay, oh my god, getting into early tanks. Okay, I'm leaning more and more towards a 1 base all in now. Early tank production out of ByuN. Of course, remember, you have to research siege mode. But he's going 1 base double Factory tank production here. And SKillous, he opens up Robo. Very important here. Robo is the opener for SKillous. Very safe start from our Protoss player. What does a Robo opener mean? That means early Immortals. Early Immortal production from the side of SKillous. Vultures revealed. Ion Thrusters on the way. Interesting that ByuN, he's prioritizing Spider Mines and Ion Thrusters over Siege Mode. Well, he's gearing up for the 1 base all in. Here we go. ByuN, he is committing. I just realized that the tanks are a little bit, like, slimmer. You can see they're a little bit less chunky. Because of the gap. I appreciate it. I appreciate the unique model. So we go. ByuN does break out across the map. Siege mode now being researched. Setting up a couple of Spider Mines to help protect his tanks. Yeah, Spider Mines have been lane. Observer first before the Immortal. Uh-oh. I mean, that will help against the Spider Mines, but the tanks have arrived. And the 1 base all in is here. And SKillous has to be so careful. There are just so many Spider Mines. Robo goes down. That means no Immortal. Ah, the Robo was exposed. And this might just be too much. Pylon's gonna go down. Yo, ByuN coming in with some builds this time, coming in with a 1 base all in. Oh, please out one of the Spider Mines, please out one of the Vultures. More Vultures gonna be falling, but the tanks, they siege up. Yeah, the tanks are sieged. And ByuN, he should have too much. He breaks through that defensive line. Takes down the gateway. Back in the main base, we have 2 gates. We can warp in 2 units at a time. But remember, these are vanilla Stalkers. And without the defensive Immortal, I don't know how we defend. I don't know how we hold on. boys gonna have to be pulled. Massive tank boys going off once again, and ByuN, he's doing it. He's getting his revenge. May have gone down to SKillous in the mid to late game, but no. Wait, we just all in. just kill SKillous while you can. Haha. Before SKillous can get into any kind of semblance of a game or an economy. The spider mines. Oh, he covers the ramp. Oh my god, SKillous gonna be zoned out. Force recall into his own main. Does recall in, but there's spider mines everywhere. Oh my god, massive connections. Takes down the mineral line. 22 probes going down. And ByuN, he has done it. He has done it at this point. Another big connection. And with that, ByuN, he starts off with a bang. With the siege mode, with the spider mines, with the one base all in. Technically, ByuN is now expanding, but it's one base all in. GG gets called. Whew, and ByuN takes game 1 against SKillous. GG. Whew. GG, well played. I would not be surprised if ByuN all-ins and cheeses every game, I'll be honest. I would not be surprised. But now it's up to SKillous. As a reminder, loser's pick. So SKillous, he will take a loss here in game 1. And with that, SKillous, it's up to him to pick. Does he stick with Brood War Protoss, or sorry, does he stick with SC2 Protoss, or does he switch to Brood War? Does he switch to Brood War? Where are we headed? Game 2 is going to be on Frostline. Here we go. So we're getting into our next game. Again, it is going to be on Frostline, and we'll see. We'll see if SKillous goes for Brood War, if he goes for Protoss. Sorry, SE2. See what he goes for. And we have the answer. SKillous, he will pick Brood War. Okay, so SKillous, he's switching things up. He's going into Brood War Protoss instead. And I'm curious what SKillous is confident in. Now, I expect aggression out of ByuN. SKillous, though, he might play things a little bit safer here. As a reminder, he did go Observer first last game, not Immortal first. So he was lacking some extra units to defend. It was a rough hold there for SKillous. But now he doesn't have to worry about vultures. True. But here we go, spawning in the top right hand corner of Frostline, we have our South Korean Terran player, the Red Terran, representing Shopify, leading the series 1-0. It is ByuN. And spawning in the bottom left hand corner, a player that just wants to get into the mid game. he just wants to play some StarCraft. Down in the series, representing the Brood War Protoss race and Team Liquid, it is SKillous. Here we go. And we'll see if SKillous can recover. We'll see if he can bounce back. As this time, ByuN, I mean, his Rax is back at home. He's not going for any crazy proxy initially. Not in game 2. Not on Frostline. And when it comes to Brood War Protoss side of things, it's a little bit more one note. It doesn't feel like there's as much diversity. There are typically 2 builds you can go for, either Dragoon into Reaver or potentially open up charge lots. You can open up, I know Classic is very fond of opening up like 2-gate Zealots into early game aggression, into early charge, then to transition into Dragoons, into Storm. So there is a little bit of variety here, but for the most part we expect Dragoons and Reavers. That is what we expect, at least, from our Brood War Protoss player. Going Zealot first. Does go Zealot first, and now he might decide to rally the Zealot across the map, or he might cancel once he realizes that nothing crazy is going on. As ByuN does open up economically, single gas open out of ByuN, going for the faster CC on the low ground. Marine first. No SCV Scout, no Reaper Scout. So ByuN is being quite greedy. Being very greedy here. Let's see if he does get away with it. SKillous likewise power walking across the map. Let's go. Does move out. I love the look of this Zealot, by the way. Every time. The confidence. Walking with purpose. It's beautiful. Of course, really long dreads. Very long dreads. SKillous does move out. Back at home, ByuN getting to his own 1-1-1. Zealot will not be able to delay the CC. Arrives a little bit too late. We'll chip away at the initial SCV, but now there's a Marine, there's a Hellion. At least Zealot gets a Scout. Does confirm the 1-1-1 setup. But Dragoon does come in to reinforce. Will deny mining time. Oh. Gets a couple of shots off. Couple of shots off on the Vulture. Meanwhile, Robot back at home. Oh. And ByuN, he will eventually break out. The Dragoon takes a lot of hits, takes a lot of damage. Second Dragoon does arrive just in time to support. Picks up a couple of Marines, keeping the pressure up. Behind this, shuttles on the way. Should be getting into the bay. Ooh, late response here by SKillous. Takes a lot of hits, takes a lot of damage. Again, Dragoons are not the most mobile of units, so you have to be so fast to react and to pull away. Otherwise, you will get caught. So far doing well. Oh! Going for the Starport. Starport does, sorry, going for the Medevac. Medevac does survive. Tank will siege, and SKillous backs up. SKillous, he backs off behind this, going for the Reaver. As we mentioned, Dragoon into Reaver is the go-to here in PvT. Honestly, in a lot of Protoss matchups. There we go, Reaver production has begun, and we should be working towards a shuttle speed to help out with that drop play. Meanwhile, as SKillous moves out with his drop, so does ByuN. ByuN going for a vanilla Marine drop. Remember, there's no stim. There is no stim. No upgrades on those Marines, but their goal here is economic damage. Now, SKillous, he does fully wall off at the natural. He's getting a third base, and he has some Dragoons ready in the main. So he's pretty well set up. Looking pretty solid. Reaver's out. Medevac does boost in. Dragoons, they will zone. Zone, they will get a couple of shots in as well. Behind this, going for the Citadel. That should be for charge, potentially leading into Templar Archives as well, into Storm. Meanwhile, Liberator has arrived. SKillous, he does react in time. Does react. Oh! Ooh. Doesn't lose any Dragoons. Nicely done. Again, Dragoons, they do have longer range than Stalkers, so they do handle that quite well, as long as they're in position. Remember, Dragoons, they are tankier, they do more damage individually than Stalkers, that is true, but they're less mobile. There's no blink, there's no blink. They are less mobile. Reaver drop coming in. Ooh, Spencer. Oh no, that's not worth it. Not worth it, gets one SCV. I wasn't expecting both tanks in position, likewise the turret as well. And SKillous, he's in a rough place. He's in a rough place here. That was a big loss for SKillous. Losing the first Reaver. Again, the double tank out of ByuN. I mean, again, he's dealt with Reavers before now. He knows. He knows how powerful they can be. ByuN is holding his own. Catches the Observer. Keeping SKillous in the dark. We have a second Reaver, but now there's, going to be a higher Viking count. More ByuN, more Marines. Second Observer gets caught. Keen eyes there out of ByuN. Takes on both Observers. And now SKillous is in the dark. He does not see what's coming. ByuN he unsieges, he moves out. Behind this, Stim is going to finish in a couple of seconds. Same with combat shields and +1. The upgrades are lined up, and ByuN pushes. It's going to be a tough hold here for SKillous, as he doesn't see it coming. Again, especially when it comes to Brutal Protoss, it is so important that you get eyes on move outs like this to get ready in time. And he will miss everything here. He does spot a stray Marine. He sees nothing in the northern attack path. SKillous trying to get a better angle. There's a scan. Here comes the Stim. SKillous is not ready for this. Yeah, he's not ready. He now responds with his army. The tanks lay siege. Charge, let's say dive in. Reaver shot going off. Ooh, takes down the tanks. He gets one, he gets two. He gets all three. Whew, takes down all three tanks. Massive connection with the Scarab shots. Scarab pops off. SKillous holds. Ooh, SKillous, he does hold on. Takes down the Viking. Viking goes down. Reaver's coming in. Ooh. Reavers are getting ready with their shots. ByuN, he backs off. SKillous, he holds. He gains momentum. Did respond with everything. He's got both observers of the main army. There we go. Does split them up. Ooh, and because of that, he will miss the rotation. ByuN, he pivots away, dropping towards the south side. SKillous trying to move units in position to scout, and he will... Oh! No, he misses! He barely does miss. Does miss his drop. Remember, there's no recall. He has to turn back around. Scan takes down the observer. So you go Storm, a zoning storm. Drop into the main. Zealots have been backing up. Oh, Reavers come in. And the Reavers, they will defend another Storm. Oh my god, Storm takes down the Medivacs. Very nice Storm. But at the same time, ByuN is pulling SKillous apart, pushing in towards the north side. Oof. High Templar rallies in. And SKillous, he just cannot keep up. Not like this. Better defense his fourth base. Dragoons, they defend the third. Whew. Clutch hold here by SKillous. Again, ByuN abusing the lack of mobility here that SKillous has. Even here, just dropping back and forth. Just dropping back and forth. Getting even more hero kills than SKillous. He's all in. SKillous at this point, he's all in. It's all or nothing. Drops that keep going. Third CC is going to be denied, but it's not about the third, it's about the natural. Can he break the natural base? That's a lot of bio. Without storms and without Reaver shots, I don't think he can. It comes down to the Reavers. Oh. Shot goes off. SKillous is all or nothing. He has to break through. Does have that one Storm. Storm goes up. Storm mainly zones away. Reaver's now coming in. Oh, Scarab shots here on the single Marine. Boys are being pulled. We're running out of Scarabs though. Oof, yeah, we are running out. And ByuN, he's holding. ByuN, he holds. He shuts down the army, cleans up all the Dragoons. And ByuN, he will break through. And again, across the map, he forced the all-in. He killed 26 probes, 26 workers. SKillous, he has no economy. He will lose everything. I say he has no economy. Technically, he's up in workers. True. ByuN had to pull the boys to defend. So SKillous, he does have a higher worker count. SKillous is still in this. A lot of losses here for SKillous, but he is rebuilding, going for a Zealot run by. We're getting scrappy. Zealots, they hit the mineral line. Gets a Marauder, gets one, gets two. Takes down 2 Marauders, does get a couple of SCV kills, not bad. Denying mining time, getting 4 SCVs. All is adding up. SKillous is sharking around with those Reavers. SKillous is recovering. He's back, he's fully saturated. SKillous, he is recovering, but he's not out of the woods yet. He does spot the army, he does spot the move out. Shout to the Observer. Likewise, ooh, deflects the northern drop. How good are the Scarab shots going to be? Oh no! It's going to go down. Yeah, the Reavers do fall. Massive big off. Nice Storm. Storm does own away, but alas, 0 Reavers left for SKillous. He lost everything there. Now trying to come in from behind. Bit of an awkward angle here from SKillous. Does catch reinforcements, not bad. Nice EMP here on the High Templar. No storms. And no storms left. SKillous pulling back. And he will lose everything here. He will lose all those Dragoons. He gets pounced upon, losing everything. SKillous trying to hold on. Drop comes back in. Oof. Another EMP on the High Templar. Once again, 0 storms. And ByuN, he does it. He breaks through, gets into the mineral line. Another storm! The High Templar! Once again, the High Templar goes down. Miscontrol there from SKillous. He'll bleed out the mineral line. ByuN, he's running out of steam a little bit here, but he does get 20 probe kills. SKillous still struggling to reinforce. The army drops back into the main. Okay, making nothing but zealots right now. Trying to hold on. And he's holding, but we have reinforcements. And likewise, ByuN, he does saturate his third. Third base is fully saturated. He has mules as well, so ByuN, he has a booming economy. Still rallying, and SKillous, he just needs time to recover, time to build up his high-tech units like High Templar, like Reavers. But after losing those first 2 Reavers, I mean, that was the backbone of his army. And he lost it. And with that, ByuN, he will take the series. He will take it. He takes down the expansion, takes down the 4th base, drop into the main. And SKillous, he can't keep up. Not anymore. It was impressive. Impressive play here by ByuN to go for the mass drop play, to barely pull SKillous apart. Nice storm. Oh my god, God. Oh, stands in the storm. Clem, calm down. Oh my god. ByuN does stand in the storms, which means he will lose this army. Oof. As Medevac barely does escape. SKillous, he's still on a 3-base setup. He technically has a 4th Nexus, but ByuN should have enough. He should, as long as he doesn't take any storms to the face. Like, true, like, these storms have been crazy. These storms have been impressive. Oh. Likewise, EMP on the Dragoons. Dragoons, they cannot fight this head on or without support. Storm coming in. Storm grazes the army. No major connection. And the Marauders, you'll see they just trade so well against these Dragoons. Without Zealots, the Dragoons, they just melt. They have no support. No support whatsoever. That goes drop back in towards the 4th. 4th goes down. Again, SKillous is just being pulled apart. Still low economy, still like a low economic game state, that is true. But ByuN has just been more efficient. He's just been so efficient here with these trades. SKillous was caught out far too much. God, the mass storm, Jesus. The storms. The storms are crazy. And with those storms, you can see the SKillous, he's barely surviving. Like, imagine these fights, and if SKillous had a 4th, right? If he had a 4th base mining, if he had a 4-base economy, like SKillous, he'd be even winning this game. ByuN taking all the storms to the face. The last SKillous is long distance mining. He never retook that 4th. Did lose it earlier. Like, these have been impressive fights here for SKillous, but ByuN, he floats over the main. The main base does float over. Getting another fresh mining base. SKillous catching reinforcements. Oh, the storm, the High Templar. The Templar! Oh no! Oh god, lands a couple storms. Big storms. Oh my god, the storms are crazy once again. He stands in the storms. Marauders, they still might be too much anyway, though. Again, SKillous trading as best he can, fighting as best he can. Impressive fights, impressive engagements, mainly storms, really. Ooh, as he does end another storm. Not quite on the army. He's out the High Templar. Okay, expensive losses for SKillous. And GG gets called. He runs out of steam, he runs out of money, and ByuN, he will claim the series 2-0, taking down SKillous. GG. Whew. Oh my god. GG, well played. A very, very intense game there. Intense series by ByuN. Game 2 was what I wanted out of this. Game 2 was beautiful, was back and forth, very intense. SKillous was barely having a hard time keeping up with the speed of ByuN's drop play, and he was barely broken. Game 1 was over before it really began, right? Like, game 1 was ByuN just going for a 1-base all-in, did break SKillous then and there, got a cheeky win in game 1. Game 2 was more back and forth, still very intense and still a lot of aggression. I'm bringing it back to, I'm just remembering, I should say, the initial lost Reaver. Remember, it was a Reaver opener. Reaver went down immediately, killing one SCV, likewise catching more Reavers towards the center of the map as well. Like, there were some key moments where ByuN was able to catch some key pickoffs, some key snipes. Likewise, if you remember, ByuN multiple times was so keen and so good at sniping observers. That was a big change here from what we saw previously. ByuN, he was on top of every single observer, scanned, sniped every single one, so SKillous had a harder time keeping up with those rotations. That's why ByuN got out of hand, is that SKillous, he had less time to react and to respond to those drops, as otherwise he should see them coming well ahead of time, but he lost so many observers throughout the course of that game. GG. GG, well played. So ByuN, he was on top of that, on top of the denial of the vision, denial of scouting. And now we're getting into our next TVP. And we'll see where this takes us here. We're getting ready for the upper semifinals. And MiddleVK has been playing a lot of StarCraft Evolution as of late. A lot of the CIS players, MiddleVK, Bratok, Young Yakov, Wayne as well, and many others. It's been really cool to see the CIS region embrace StarCraft Evolution as much as they have. Has been really cool. Has been impressive.